Hey everyone! Welcome to week 9 of being pregnant in Sophie White's world. So last week I was filling you in about the chronic nausea, which has not in any way abated, even though I have done nothing but eat chicken fillet rolls for pretty much this whole pregnancy. I feel really guilty. It's like preemptive child abuse what I'm doing here, but I can't help it. I just really don't want broccoli. I don't want fruit. It's so weird. I'm usually a really good fruit eater in life. It's no hardship to me to eat fruit. But like this fetus just really digs the chicken fillet rolls, the crackers, the cheese, the carbs. I'm a carb monster. If I could just make some kind of intense carb smoothie with melted cheese on top, that would probably be the best way to keep this nausea at bay. So I'm having like mild guilt about that, especially because I'm telling everyone about it. But you just gotta like get through the nausea whatever way you can. It's just imperative. Survival is imperative. At least I'm eating something, right? And grapefruits. I'm really digging the grapefruits. So I'm eating about 3 a day. So I'm hoping that's actually balancing things off somewhat. Who knows? So cravings aside and nausea aside, I wanted to talk this week about something that I think like people always forget about being pregnant. Like even people who've been pregnant really like think we all forget it. And I've just been reintroduced to it. And it is the constant anxiety of being pregnant. Like last time, I don't think I ever really relaxed and enjoyed or like started to enjoy like the glow or anything that was promised to me by the media. I just was like full tilt petrified like the whole time. And I think that's really common. Like I think loads of women are, because it's just a really unknown, scary time, and you're just like tentatively hopeful and optimistic, of course, but and maybe I'm more odd than most people, but like I feel like while I'm really excited and I'm really hopeful, I can't help but just feel very worried all the time that something's gonna go wrong, or you know, that I'm gonna have a miscarriage, or that the baby won't be healthy. And you know, they feel like selfish worries too, because I'm so grateful to be having a baby, another baby as well. I'm like, oh, you know, we're so lucky already. And there's just this like ever slight kind of feeling of like pushing it a bit, like, oh, are we pushing it? You know, are we wanting too much? And I just think that's something a lot of people do experience, and I think that's something a lot of people forget about the gestating woman and dad. That, you know, it's just a time of uncertainty and worry too. And so yeah, with that in mind, I actually had like kind of a mild scare this week. Just some really intense pains, and like I've been very crampy all the way along, like kind of like really bad period pains. And I remember that from my first pregnancy too, like I had just really intense cramps like for about 5 months. And I remember always being really worried about that last time as well, and eventually kind of settling into, oh, okay, maybe this is just what pregnancy feels like for me. And, you know, I'd obviously, you know, asked doctors and, you know, been told all the usual stuff. Like, I mean, as long as there appears to be no bleeding and things like that, then, you know, hopefully everything's okay and that it's normal growing pains. And so I was putting all the cramps this time around as well down to just growing pains. And then just last Friday I was in work and I just really got really bad, kind of just to the right of my abdomen, quite low down. And they weren't like the usual crampy pains. It was like very kind of like burny, kind of intense. I kind of couldn't like walk. I was kind of catching my breath. They were so bad. So I just got like into the, you know, wild panic state that happens when I just, you know, was afraid that something was happening that was bad. And I actually just dropped everything and left work really abruptly and said nothing to anybody, and I just texted my like really understanding, fabulous boss from a taxi and said, oh, I'm going to Hollis Street. And I went there and they were brilliant, as they always have been to me anyway. I've always had a really good experience with them. They really looked after me. At my end of my last pregnancy was a bit chaotic and they were brilliant about that too. So I got there and I went to casualty and I just waited and waited and waited, and they eventually took me in and scanned me. And so really happy to report that everything looks okay, and they just felt that the pains were probably caused by the fact that I had a C-section the first time around. Maybe the growing feels different this time, and basically they just tried to put my mind at rest. And it certainly was really comforting seeing the little fetus in there just trucking away, doing its best currently at 9 weeks. So I don't know the science. Yeah, so it was really reassuring seeing the baby, and just getting the bit of reassurance from the doctors. And it was actually funny, like obviously, you know, when you're going through the public, I'm not really sure about the private or the semi-private system, but in the public system, like you don't really get a scan or anything like that until kind of later on. So it was really nice to see the baby, and it kind of made me think like, oh, you know, it's really worthwhile if you're having worries and stuff to look into private scanning in Dublin. There's a private scanning clinic in Rathgar who do a scan in early pregnancy for about 100 quid, which is a lot, but if you're losing sleep and worrying about what's going on in there, it can be helpful. So anyway, fingers crossed, hang in there, little bug. That's what we call the new baby bug. So baby bug has stuck around for another week, and I'm really grateful for that. So talk to you guys soon. Bye.